Welcome back to the Tractor Tech channel. I'm Roger, and this box is the start of my next project. It's a pretty big box and it's a heavy item. There it is. It is a 1/4 inch quick attach plate. This was sent to me by a company called Yinatech. You can purchase it on Amazon. I'm going to have the link in the video description. One thing I noticed that's pretty interesting is the tabs here. This was made in a brake, so they're not welded on. I like that. All in all, I think it looks pretty good. So before proceeding, I'm going to test fit this on the tractor and see how well it fits. There I have it on the L4240. I have it locked in place. You can see it doesn't move. It's a nice tight fit. It fits good down at the bottom also. And of course, fits good at the top. So since it looks like it's a good fit, I'm ready to start cutting my metal. So Saturday, I started working on this project and I thought I'd have all the metal cut, but ended up having to help my dad on what he was working on. And now it's Monday and it's like a little after 9 o'clock and don't have any metal cut. But I know my quick attach plate fits the loader properly, so I can start figuring things out. But what I want to build is a tree boom. Of course, I'm never going to pick up a tree with the thing, but I figure I can use it to load and unload tractor attachments. Here at the garage I can use it to unload engines, transmissions, differentials. Well, usually you can pick up a transmission by hand, but differentials and engines, you know, any big heavy car parts, I don't know, just whatever. And if I wanted to, I could possibly set rafters on a small building, since I'm going to have added lift height with the boom. Now, I'm not an engineer, so don't copy my design. You know, don't know if it's going to work, how well it's going to be or anything, so I'm not responsible for anything like that. But I have a 1/4 inch quick attach plate, 4x4, 1/4 inch wall, tubing. This is going to be my upright. Pretty much all I have to do is I need to figure out where I'm going to cut this and then what angle I'm going to come out on it. It'll make sense later in the video. Then on the end of the tubing, I'm going to, I believe my plan is, not done with it yet though, going to have a big eyelet in it that is large enough where I can get a chain hook through it. Some of them you look at don't have a big enough eyelet, so you'd have to use a D-ring. Really don't want to have to use a D-ring unless I'm using a strap. You know, that's just something extra to keep on it, or extra to keep in the tractor, which I do keep a D-ring in the tractor, but that's just added time. Why not have a big enough hole to put a chain hook through it? Now, this is being built out of metal that's here. I'm not going out and buying a bunch of metal, because really, if you're going to do that, you might as well go buy a tree boom. Now, since I'm using what metal I have, I want to run braces across the top and bottom of the quick attach plate. And I need, the ones that I saw online were using 1/4 inch plate. I don't have big pieces of 1/4 inch plate to do that. I looked for some 4x4 angle. Don't have any of that around here, and if I did, it'd probably be, since it's 4-inch angle, it'd probably be like 3/8 or something, way too thick. So I found this 5-inch channel, and I'm going to take the plasma cutter and just rip the sides off of it and turn it into plate steel. And then I have this piece of 1/4 inch plate where I'm going to gusset the boom where it comes up and then over a little bit. So this will be the gusset. So it's going to be built all out of scrap with the exception of the quick attach plate. And I know for a fact this tubing has been laying around since the early 2000s, and I think my dad had this metal here since like probably 1995. And then this was some newer stuff that was purchased at an sale and auction from a business that had shut down. Bunch of scrap. We have a whole bunch of this. There's like a whole pallet full of this stuff. I don't know what was built where they had a bunch of pieces of that laying around, but that's what it's going to look like. So I'm not going to show it on camera, but I'm going to take, really I could probably just take a couple pieces of these and lay in there and figure out on the garage floor what angle I want to use for my tree boom. So this is going to be a pretty simple project. Hopefully it's not going to take a long time, and I'm going to have something that is going to be nice and usable. So I guess the next time you see me, I'm going to have some metal on the chop saw and be doing some cutting on this on the plasma. And the plasma cutter is like probably 3 or 4 years old, and it was a tool that we'd wanted to get for a long time and never ever got, and got the thing and got it out, made a couple cuts with it and put it in the box, and haven't had time to use it since. So this will be like the first project that the plasma cutter has been used on. So that's going to be fun. I think I finally have my angle figured out. I have it sitting on the bandsaw. I'm going to try cutting it with the bandsaw. Don't know how it's going to do. My other option would be to use the portaband or possibly the plasma cutter, but I feel like this is going to give me the best end result. You can see I got the angle cut on the 4x4 main tube, and I went ahead and trimmed the end of it to my desired length. So it's kind of taking shape, even though not a tremendous amount is done. Next thing I'm going to do is cut some 1/4 inch plate on both ends to cap it off. Just wanted to show an update here of where I am. I didn't make as much progress last night, which was Friday night, as I wanted to. Had to help my dad on the car a little bit, and then mess with it a little bit this morning also, so didn't really get too much done to this boom this morning. I did make this template, so you can see I got the end caps cut out. Inexperienced with the plasma. This is the first project I've used the plasma on, so I'm still figuring out like the amperage, the pressure, the speed at which I move the torch. Plus I'm cutting dirty metal, which I know is very bad, so have that working against me too. I do clean it up on the grinder with a wire wheel on a grinder prior to cutting it with the plasma, but still getting that figured out. This fish plate here, I'm going to add another 2 inches to it, but the metal I have isn't long enough, so it's going to have a 2-inch extension added onto it. I'm going to probably trim this down because right now your box tubing is radiused on the corners, so it's sticking up. I think I'm going to shorten it so it's up on top, I think. And then this is the gusset here for the corner. All it needs done is add the hole to this, but I think I'm just going to do that after this piece is cut out. So once the big thing on this project is going to be getting the top piece welded to the bottom piece, and after that I feel like everything's going to be kind of easy. But Then it'll have to be laid on the quick attach plate at some point and welded, but that won't be too hateful, I don't think. So I need to get this moved over to the other bay. But one problem I just thought of is the welder is 220 and the plasma cutter is 220. So while my dad is welding, I can't be using the plasma cutter, so I need to get over there, get the cutting. So I have some stuff that I need to clean up with the grinder that I can use a 110 outlet with. Looking pretty good here. The main beam is now fully welded. Actually turned out pretty good. The lens in that helmet is way too dark, so I'm having difficulty at seeing what I'm doing, but pretty happy with the results. And this is old metal that's just been laying around, and I'm going to save these strips that are cut off because I might be able to use them for something too. Alright, so after some work with the grinder, I have this looking pretty good. These flap discs, they cut amazing. It didn't take nearly as much as I thought to dress this up. This old rusty metal just does not want to cut good. Something like that I-beam that's fairly clean, it does a really good job, but the rusty metal, it's just very difficult to cut, especially for me with my low experience with the plasma cutter. So I think we'll go ahead and get this stuck up on the beam, get my dad to weld that, then weld the end cap on, and I'll start marking pieces of metal for the gussets. I'll start marking pieces of metal for the fish plates. There's the gusset all ready to go. You can see the fitment is very nice on that. Once we get that done, then the tube can be capped off, and like I say, we'll have a place to clamp our ground. Alright, here's the hook portion. Had some difficulties cutting the outside of it. Like I say, I don't have experience with the plasma cutter, and it took several attempts to get it cut. See, it's pretty rough looking. It is 1/2 inch steel. Then when I move to the inside, you can see I did much better. Pretty daggone clean looking cuts, so kind of getting things figured out. This thing is extremely hot. That's why I had the vice grips on the gusset earlier to move it around, because it was so hot. I'm going to go ahead, dress this up, and then I'll figure where I'm going to put the hole and how big. I want it large enough where I can get a 5/16 grab hook through there. This is going to be the end of the tree boom build for now. This is just part one. I was hoping to get everything done today, but unfortunately we ran out of time. It's 11 o'clock now, so we're giving up for the day. But as I said earlier, you can see that the beam is welded together. Have both of the end caps on, the gusset on the bottom, and then the fish plates are on both sides. The only thing that needs to be done is put the hook on the end of it. Then it's ready to be welded to the quick attach plate. I think things are starting to look pretty nice, and I'm really anxious to get this project done because I think it is something that's going to be an asset to have. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.